Dear Radiant Leo, let me ask you something bold. What if the universe is not only speaking to you today but actually rearranging itself to meet you where your soul is finally ready to go? If your heart stirred even slightly, you're in the right place. This message, this moment, this exact date, June 12, 2025, did not find you by accident. You were guided here. And no, not for just another horoscope. You were called here because something bigger is unfolding. And you feel it, don't you? Here on Eternal Mindfulness, we don't just talk astrology. We decode divine timing. We tap into tarot not as prediction, but as a mirror. We explore numerology, energy shifts, and the law of attraction as living forces guiding your inner evolution. And today, Leo, all of them are converging right here, right now for you. This is your cosmic checkpoint. Your moment to pause, breathe deeply, and return to the power that never left you. The title you clicked, Big Changes Are Coming, Stay Strong, Miracles Await, wasn't crafted to be clickbait. It's a transmission. An energetic match to what your soul already knows. Transformation is in motion. You're not just being asked to endure change. You're being invited to rise because of it. So take a slow, conscious breath. Put your hand on your heart. Let yourself feel it. Not with logic but with the quiet, wise pulse of intuition. This is a turning point. This is initiation. Leo, you are ruled by the sun. You don't follow the light, you are the light. But even the sun rests behind clouds from time to time, not because it's lost, but because it's preparing for a more brilliant return. And today, something within you is preparing for exactly that. As we move through this powerful reading, we'll journey through deep astrological shifts, sacred tarot symbols, frequencies of numbers, color medicine, and soul-based action steps. You'll receive not just insight, but spiritual tools. Not just prediction, but power. And before we go any further, allow me a heartfelt moment to thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for every like, every share, every comment, and every subscription. Your support doesn't just grow this channel, it deepens this soul community we're building together. Every time you engage, you're stepping further into the family of eternal mindfulness. So Leo, my fierce and faithful lion, I invite you now to claim this energy aloud. Comment below. I am ready for my transformation. Type it. Speak it. Feel it. Let the universe hear you roar. Because trust me, what's coming next in this reading is nothing short of remarkable. Miracles are aligning. But they're not falling from the sky. They're rising from within you. Stay with me. Let's open the door together. What we're stepping into now, dear Leo, is not just the first chapter of a cosmic forecast, it's an invitation to release what no longer aligns with the truth of who you are becoming. If you've made it here, breathing into the depth of today's message, you're already feeling the subtle pulse of something shifting. The energies that surround you are wise and intentional, and right now they are asking one thing from you: to let go. The Tower has arrived in your reading not to punish or frighten but to serve as a symbol of profound renewal. In astrology and tarot alike, this archetype doesn't represent chaos for the sake of it. It represents the collapse of false structures, those inner walls and outer facades we've built around outdated beliefs, attachments, or fears. The tower only shakes what is unstable. What is real, what is aligned, what is rooted in love and clarity, it remains. What crumbles was never meant to last. And that, dear Leo, is where your strength shines. Your sign is known for its courage, loyalty, and radiant presence. But it is precisely that loyalty which sometimes makes you hold on too tightly, whether to relationships, ambitions, or stories about who you should be. You give your heart fully, even when the energy is no longer reciprocated, even when something in your body whispers that it's time to release. You stay, you push, you protect. But there is great power in learning when to stop resisting and instead soften like a flame, choosing to flicker down rather than burn out in exhaustion. The number 16, which echoes through today's numerological field, mirrors this message. 16 breaks down to 7, a number long associated with inner wisdom, discernment, and clarity after upheaval. It is the energy of walking away not in bitterness, but in peace. When something no longer feeds your light, when it begins to drain instead of nourish, the most loving act is to acknowledge its role in your journey, thank it, and let it go. Not because it wasn't important, but because your growth now requires space. We often think that release is an act of rejection. But in truth, letting go is an act of deep compassion. It is the choice to allow things to transform, even if that transformation means ending. Imagine holding water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the more it escapes. The more gently you open your palm, the more it stays. In the same way, when you open your life to movement and flow, rather than gripping what was, you allow something new to arrive, not by force, but by natural alignment. In quiet traditions of mindfulness and conscious living, there is a teaching: do not carry the raft after you have crossed the river. It means that tools, people, roles, or ideas that once carried you through important phases may now have served their purpose. And if you keep dragging them with you, they become burdens instead of blessings. Your energy, your most sacred currency, deserves to be called back from what no longer resonates. The law of attraction responds not to what we want intellectually, but to the energy we embody. When you unclench your grasp from what drains you, you immediately shift your frequency. You no longer say, "I want change," you become change. You radiate it. And in return, life begins to mirror that back. You begin to attract experiences, relationships, and paths that honor the you that you are now, not the version you outgrew. So today, Leo, ask yourself, what am I still carrying that no longer carries me? Where am I expending energy out of habit rather than love? And what might happen if, just for this moment, I allow the tower to fall, knowing that beneath the rubble is clarity, freedom, and the foundation for something far more real? If this message resonates, I invite you to write down 3 things you're ready to release. Then, with full awareness and care, let them go. Burn them safely, tear them, or simply whisper your goodbyes. Speak from the heart, thank you for what you've taught me. Now, I choose to move forward. And trust, Leo, when you make space, miracles have room to enter. Now that you've begun the sacred act of release, Leo, something remarkable begins to happen. The soil of your inner life becomes fertile again. And with it, the opportunity to plant anew. The appearance of the Ace of Pentacles in your reading today is not just a symbol of prosperity, it's a gentle but powerful reminder that your next chapter begins with the smallest of seeds. You don't need to have it all figured out. You only need to begin, with presence, intention, and care. This card signals the energy of grounded renewal, an invitation to return to what's essential and rebuild from there. Not in a rush, not under pressure, but from a space of clarity. And for you, Leo, this starts not with grand gestures but with your physical self. You are a fire sign, ruled by the radiant sun. Your energy is magnetic, generous, and passionate. But even the brightest flame needs fuel, containment, and space to breathe. Begin by coming home to your body not as a machine to push or perfect, but as a sacred companion that walks with you through every chapter of your life. When you nourish yourself well, when you stretch and move with intention, when you rest without guilt, you are telling your future, I am ready to hold what's coming. Energy isn't generated by force, it flows where there is balance. The simplest choices today can become the most powerful rituals. Choose fresh, living foods that bring life to your cells. Say yes to movement that doesn't punish but pleases, whether it's dancing barefoot in your kitchen or walking slowly beneath the morning sun. Tend to the forgotten corners of your living space. When you sweep, fold, wipe, or rearrange, you are not just cleaning the outer world. You are sending a signal inward, preparing your vessel for clarity. There's a quiet principle that teaches, the way you care for your environment reflects the way you care for your inner world. When you pause to water a plant, when you open a window to let light in, when you create space around you, you are also cultivating space within. And from this space, new wisdom arises not through struggle, but through attention. The color peach offers subtle support today, carrying with it the vibration of soft enthusiasm and creative awakening. It encourages warmth without overwhelming, joy without excess. Consider wearing this hue or placing something peach-toned in your environment to remind you that new beginnings don't need to be dramatic to be powerful, they only need to be sincere. This is a moment to trust in the power of small things. The way a seed holds the blueprint of a forest. The way one breath, taken fully, can reset an entire day. This is how you rise, not through force or ambition, but through quiet, consistent tending. You are not rebuilding the old. You are growing into something wiser, more aligned, more you. So ask yourself, what new quality, habit, or dream am I ready to nurture? Not someday now. Let this be the beginning of your inner spring. And if you feel called, I invite you to share your intention in the comments. Declare it with clarity and care. Write, new seed, and let that be your signal to the universe. You don't need to know what will bloom, only that you are willing to plant with love. Having tended the ground of your life and begun planting gentle, meaningful seeds, you now arrive at one of the most powerful energies available to any human heart, love. Not the fleeting romance shaped by conditions or expectations, but a quieter, steadier kind of love, the love that both gives and receives, the kind that asks for nothing in return yet transforms everything it touches. The presence of the Knight of Pentacles in this part of your reading speaks directly to this energy. He does not rush, he does not perform, simply shows up, again and again, with sincerity and care. And that, Leo, is where real love begins. Too often, we're taught that love must be proven. That we must earn it by being more, doing more, sacrificing more. Especially for you, a Leo with such a natural desire to offer warmth, to be seen, to uplift those around you, this message can cut deep. Love is not something you prove, it's something you become. And the first place to begin is within. Look at how you speak to yourself. How you hold space for your own feelings. Would you speak to a friend the way you sometimes speak to yourself in silence? If not, then today is an invitation to soften that voice, to place one hand on your chest, and say with gentleness, I am worthy of care, even when I'm not performing. The energy of this moment reminds us that loving others without losing ourselves is possible, but only when we anchor from a place of wholeness, not depletion. There is a quiet teaching that says when the heart is full, it spills over naturally. Giving from that fullness is generous. But giving from emptiness becomes a silent plea for validation. So take a moment now to pause, not to love others better, but to come home to your own presence. Because when you treat yourself as worthy, you set a standard for how others may meet you. True love, the kind this reading invites, is often slow and steady like the Knight of Pentacles. It builds itself over time with small acts, not declarations. It shows up in consistent kindness, in thoughtful presence, in honest conversation. If you are waiting for someone to shift, ask yourself gently, am I loving them as they are, or as I wish them to become? And if you are the one who is always doing the work, always proving, always reaching, then it's time to ask, what would love look like if I stopped trying so hard and simply allowed myself to be seen? There is also beauty in silence, in the unspoken ways love appears, a glass of water placed beside a tired hand, a message sent with no agenda, a moment of stillness where we witness ourselves without judgment. These are not small things. They are everything. And in this moment, the most powerful act of love you can offer may not be grand, but quiet a handwritten thank you note to life, a word of kindness to your reflection, a breath taken with presence. Today, the color pink, especially soft, muted tones, carries the frequency of the open heart. It does not shout. It radiates. Wearing this color or inviting it into your space is a simple way to hold yourself in a gentle embrace. It's a symbol of kindness without force, of compassion that begins within and extends outward effortlessly. So, Leo, I invite you now to ask, who needs your love today? Maybe it's someone in your life. Maybe it's you. And if this part of the journey resonates with you, take a moment to comment below with the words, open heart. Let that be your offering, your declaration, your gentle ripple out into the universe that you are ready not for perfect love, but for honest, healing connection that begins right here, in this breath, in this moment. As the heart opens to love and steady care, a natural shift begins to take place, a quiet reorientation from the inside out. You start to see your life through a new lens, not just in relationships, but also in your purpose, your path, and the way you show up in the world. This next phase in your journey, Leo, brings attention to your career and your relationship with abundance. And the card that gently guides us here is the Hanged Man, which offers a sacred pause not as punishment, but as preparation for a deeper understanding. This is a moment of suspension, not stagnation. The Hanged Man invites you to release the impulse to rush toward answers and instead linger in the question. What if your work is not just about making a living, but about making meaning? What if the delays, the detours, and even the doubts are not signs of failure but invitations to align more truthfully with your inner compass? The shift begins with perspective. For so long, many of us have been taught to chase opportunity, to hustle for worth, to equate productivity with value. But energy doesn't flow well through force. It moves best through clarity, trust, and presence. You are not here to scramble. You are here to attract or become so rooted in your purpose that what is meant for you can find you without resistance. The number 31 carries a unique vibration in numerology, the energy of self-expression, 3, and individuality, 1, joining to create a new foundation. 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. It's a reminder that building something solid in your life doesn't require abandoning who you are. It requires integrating your creativity and your truth into practical, sustainable steps. If you've been waiting for a sign that it's time to start something newer, to see your current path in a new light, this is that moment. Sometimes, the greatest progress happens when we stop pushing and start listening. What lights you up? What kind of work leaves you more energized than drained? What dreams keep returning, even if they've been shelved? These are not distractions. They are signals. Financially, too, this moment asks for a reset. It's time to examine the beliefs you've inherited about money, beliefs that may have come from your family, your culture, or your own past experiences. Thoughts like, money is hard to earn, or, I'm not someone who gets ahead, quietly shape your reality. But like all beliefs, they can be rewritten. Money, at its core, is a form of energy. When treated with care and clarity, it becomes a channel not just for survival, but for service and joy. You don't have to chase it, you can call it in. But to do that, you must treat it as something worthy of respect and relationship. Like any other relationship, it responds to how you show up, with desperation, or with devotion. So today, let this be your new beginning. Choose 3 affirmations that speak to the version of yourself who trusts in flow and worthiness. Say them aloud, write them down, revisit them often. I am worthy of abundance. Money flows to me in unexpected, joyful ways. I am a magnet for aligned opportunity. There's a simple truth in the ancient teachings that says, what you hold in your mind, consistently and clearly, becomes the shape of your world. Not because the world bends to your will, but because your awareness begins to see more clearly what's always been there. So slow down. Take this moment not to strategize, but to see from a new angle. Your path is not lost, it's unfolding, and the pause you're in is part of that unfolding. Let it clarify you. Let it remind you that your work is not just what you do, it's who you are becoming. And that, Leo, is a beautiful thing to grow into. After revisiting your path through purpose and prosperity, you're now being gently guided towards something even more essential, your sense of belonging. Not the kind defined by external expectations or societal roles, but a deeper, quieter kind of homecoming. The 4 of Wands appears here like a doorway into this space. It symbolizes more than celebration. It represents alignment, the kind of peace that doesn't come from escaping, but from arriving within yourself, and with those who truly see you. Leo, your strength is undeniable. Your fire burns bright, often lighting the way for others. But even fire needs the place to return to rest, to be held. And yet, for someone so fiercely self-reliant, allowing yourself to be supported can feel strangely vulnerable. You may have carried your wounds in silence, convinced that to show them would be to show weakness. But in truth, to be seen in your entirety, your light, your struggle, your complexity is one of the most powerful expressions of courage there is. This part of your journey is about creating that sanctuary not only in your physical space, but in your relationships. It begins by recognizing that home isn't always the place you came from. Sometimes, it's the place you choose to build now, from the ground up, with care, honesty, and new energy. And if your roots feel tangled in pain or misunderstanding, this is your chance to replant in healthier soil. There's a quiet teaching that reminds us, it's not where you were born that defines your belonging, but where your soul feels safe enough to unfold. Start small. Light a candle not just for atmosphere, but as an invitation to warmth. Rearranging your space isn't trivial, it's symbolic. When you shift your outer world, even slightly, you're making room within yourself for clarity and renewal. Clean a window, and perhaps you'll begin to see something new, not just through the glass, but within your perspective. Reach out to someone not to fix what was, but to offer your presence. A message, a call, a shared silence. Connection doesn't always need words. Sometimes, it just needs your willingness to be there without performance. And if your family of origin is a source of hurt, give yourself permission to expand your definition of family. Find your soul kin, the people who reflect back your wholeness, who honor your boundaries, who make you feel like your most unfiltered self is welcome. This is also a time to reflect on what emotional weight you may still be carrying. Ask yourself quietly, am I holding a hurt that no longer belongs in my hands? Healing doesn't demand confrontation, it asks for compassion. Not every wound needs to be relived. Some simply need acknowledgement and the kindness of your own attention. The mind has a way of clinging to pain as proof of something unresolved, but the heart knows that true resolution often comes from gentle release. Peace is not the absence of noisy, it's the presence of harmony within. When you give yourself the grace to slow down, to clear out, to reconnect, you become the sanctuary you've been searching for. And the beauty is, once you create that internal steadiness, your outer world begins to reflect it. Like ripples moving outward, your sense of calm inspires calm in others. Your grounded energy becomes a gift. So take this moment, Leo, not to solve everything at once, but to soften. To lean into simplicity. To return not to the past but to your inner center. Let your home reflect your intention. Let your relationships reflect your growth. And let your life become the quiet celebration of being fully, truly, and unapologetically whole. And now, dear Leo, we arrive gently at the end of this journey, but perhaps it's not an ending at all. Perhaps it's the breath before the beginning. You've traveled through the energy of release, through the act of conscious renewal, into the heart of love, purpose, and peace. And through every step, you've shown that you are more than just your zodiac sign. You are the living proof that growth is always possible when we choose to meet life with awareness, with courage, and with softness. What you've done today is no small thing. You've paused to listen. You've reflected with honesty. And maybe, just maybe, you've seen a new side of yourself, one that's been quietly waiting for you to slow down long enough to notice. This version of you is not an illusion. It's real. It's rising. And it's ready. Let the message of today echo in your chest a little longer. Big changes are coming. Stay strong. Miracles await. Not because someone will hand them to you, but because you are now aligned to receive them. You've created space through release. You've planted seeds through intention. You've opened your heart, shifted your vision, and taken one more step toward becoming the person your soul has always known you could be. You don't have to transform overnight. That's not what this is about. True growth happens gently, quietly, like water carving stone, like light filtering through leaves. The steps you take now, no matter how small, are meaningful. They matter. And they add up. So ask yourself, what will I carry forward from this? Which idea spoke loudest to my heart? Which shift am I ready to make, not tomorrow, but today? Is there one small act of love I can offer myself? One belief I can let go of? One corner of my home, or one corner of my soul, I can clear and renew? This isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about being committed to showing up not just for others, but for yourself. If anything you heard today touched something inside you, I invite you to ground it in reality. Leave a comment below and write, "I am ready for a miraculous life." Let those words be your declaration. Let the universe see your intention. And let others, members of our growing Eternal Mindfulness family, witness and support you, too. Because this isn't just a YouTube channel. This is a space where awakened souls gather, where real transformation begins, not with grand resolutions, but with quiet truths spoken aloud. Your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, theory more than numbers. They're signals of connection. They're the reason we continue to create and share these sacred messages. So from the deepest part of my heart, thank you. Thank you for spending your time and your energy here. Thank you for being open. Thank you for allowing eternal mindfulness to be part of your journey. And remember, Leo, you are not here to blend in. You are here to burn bright. To walk your path with boldness and grace. To create not only a life, but a legacy of warmth, wisdom, and wonder. So take this energy with you today. Let it guide your steps. Let it whisper to you when the world gets loud. And let it remind you that no matter what unfolds, you are always one breath, one choice, one intention away from the life your soul came here to live. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, be gentle, be brave, and never forget, you are the miracle.